What is the most OP build for Ingrid in Fire Emblem Three Hopes? There has been a lot of requests for Ingrid. Trust me when I say the wait was worth it. Just like Marianne, Ingrid relies on her ice to freeze enemies, so she could do damage uninterrupted. To be honest, Ingrid might even be in the top 5 of all the builds I've ever made. So without further ado, I present to you Ingrid the Frozen Lance. Our class of choice is Falcon Knight, and as usual, I'll explain my reasoning as we go. For Ingrid to reach her full damage potential, we're going to need to use the Lance of Ruin for our weapon. Not only does this weapon drastically increase our crit hit chance on our combat arts, but if we have the right crest on, we also gain access to a really powerful combat art called Ruined Sky. Since we don't naturally have this crest, for our accessory we're going to equip the Fissure Dragon sign. This crest accessory will allow us to use our full powered Lance of Ruin, while also gaining the added benefit of a 10% chance to slightly increase our damage dealt by combat arts. Our battalion is going to be resist archers, since this is one of the very few builds that we won't be covering our innate weaknesses, in this case flying. Our combat arts are Ruined Sky and Frozen Lance. Ruined Sky is our main damaging ability that just melts right through enemies. Frozen Lance might not be the strongest ability, but since we're building heavily into our ice element, it's a required ability for this build. Ingrid has 3 unique abilities. Icy Plunge deals explosions of ice damage when sending enemies flying. This is one of the main reasons we're running Falcon Knight. Falcon Knight gives us a lot of opportunity to both combo our enemies in the air and send them flying. As a side note, Icy Plunge has the ability to freeze enemies, giving us 2 different ways to freeze our foes. Heaven Sent greatly increases the warrior gauge fill rate when attacking enemies that are launched into the air. This is the second reason we're running Falcon Knight. No other class can juggle enemies into the air like a Falcon Knight can, making this a required class to use Ingrid's full potential. Sword Lance increases damage dealt by 50% when ordered to guard. Alert Stance greatly increases the invincibility windows when we dodge, which is a cool little benefit. Sword Booster gives us a 95% damage boost against sword wielding enemies. Now on to our abilities. As per usual, watch till the end to see how I unlocked each one. Lance Prowess level 3 gives us a 30% damage boost while wielding a lance. Wild Abandon greatly increases our damage while also greatly increases our damage received. Fiendish Blow increases the power of elemental effects, which makes enemies stay frozen for even longer. Offensive Tactics has another 20% boost to our damage as long as our battalion is still active. Essence of Ice transforms all of our ice abilities from combat arts, magic, strong attacks, and class actions into a much stronger version. This is going to affect our Frozen Lance as well as our Icy Plunge. Forethought fills both the Awakening and warrior gauges when using combat arts or magic. Pegasus Knight's Wisdom increases the Awakening gauge fill rate when using our class actions on Falcon Knight. Boost Critical increases our crit hit chance, while Apex Lance increases our crit hit damage. And of course, last but not least, we have Flare, which lowers the enemy resistance proportionate to our luck stat. Now let's talk stats. Our main stats for the build are Strength, Dex, and Speed. Strength increases our overall damage, Dex gives us a higher crit chance alongside more damage on critical rushes, and Speed boosts the length of our Awakening when activated, as well as reduces our combat art cooldowns. To get the most out of your stats, you're going to want to level up 60 times as Trickster to gain a big boost to our Dex and Speed, then 60 levels as Bow Knight for a big boost to our Strength and Dex. As far as our combat loop, we fly into battle and start our encounters with a Frozen Lance. If your speed stat is high enough, you'll notice that when enemies break out of your ice, your next Frozen Lance is available. Do not use your Frozen Lance while an enemy is still frozen, or it will not work. You can't reapply this element when it's still active, so you're going to want to wait until you have another chance to use it. All the while, you're wailing on enemies, doing crazy damage with your combos and your Ruined Sky. You're effectively keeping enemies frozen for the entire battle, all the while chipping away at the enemy's health. As per usual, feel free to throw in things like Warrior Specials and Awakening gauges, since they're also very strong on Ingrid, but as I mentioned before, you want to make sure that you use up all your Warrior Specials before activating your Awakening. When awakened, you gain warrior specials extremely fast due to the ability to critical rush enemies much easier. So if you make sure you use all your warrior specials first, you're likely to max the bar again by the end of your awakening. Now where did I get all of these lovely abilities? Well, Lance Prowess level 3 is from Soldier, Cavalier, and Paladin. Wild Abandon is from Brigand, Fiendish Blow is from Warlock, Offensive Tactics from Wyvern Rider, Essence of Ice is again from Warlock, Forethought from Trickster, Pegasus Knight's Wisdom is from Pegasus Knight, Boost Critical and Apex Lance are both gained via Paladin, Flare is from Grimory, and Frozen Lance is from Cavalier. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more builds.